Hello guys, welcome to the knowledge domain, the concept of life sciences and vital. In this lecture series, we are going to focus on the animal diversity. So the first lecture is background for the animal diversity understanding. So we start with the animal architecture. So the level of organization in the organismal complexity are as follows. Complexity level in the cytoplasmic level of organization, followed by the cellular level, then cell tissue, then tissue organ, and finally the organ system level of organization. So from the cytoplasmic to the finally organ system. Like this, it is divided into 5 categories. The chief functional cell of an organ are called its parenchyma. So when we have the tissue or an organ, so the chief functional cells, the majority of the cells that is performing the function of the tissue or the organ is known as parenchyma, and the supportive tissue are its stroma. So one organ has means two major components. One is the parenchyma, another is the stroma. So coming to the animal body plan, that is based on division of an animal based on a plane passing through the center of its body. So the first one is the asymmetrical, because you cannot divide this animal into two equal halves which are mirror image of each other on any of its plane. So when there is no symmetry, it is called the asymmetrical. Then in this case, it is a sphere like the volvox, and any plane that is passing through the center of the body is dividing this animal into two equal halves which are mirror image of each other. So this is the spherical symmetry, this shown by the volvox, and this type of body plan is responsible for floating and the rolling type of activities. So in this case, if you divide it, the animal, the passing through the center of the body in two equal halves through many planes, then it is radial symmetry. So these are the type of animals which are tube shaped, so that you can divide the animal only from the one side, like hydra or the jellyfishes. They are in the phylum Nidaria. Then the sea urchin, Echinodermata. Then some sponges, they show the radial symmetry. So there are some animals where you can divide the animal into two equal halves by using the two planes, two type of planes. That is the biradial symmetry. That is shown by the, so biradial is a means subtype of the radial symmetry. That is shown in the sea walnuts and the comb jellies. That is the Ctenophora phylum. And this radial symmetry and the biradial symmetry is shown in the animals who are sessile, free floating, and weakly swimming. So in this case, the plane is on the sagittal plane. So when you cut the animal into two equal halves based on the sagittal plane, then you get the mirror image, two fragment of the body in the mirror which are mirror image of each other. This is called the bilateral symmetry. Symmetry. We can see the cephalization process. So main body plans are asymmetrical, spherical symmetrical, radial, which is a subtype biradial and bilateral symmetry. So four major body plans. So coming to the various planes, like here we have discussed the sagittal plane. So from the anterior posterior axis of an animal, from the dorsal to the ventral side at the middle of the body, the plane is the sagittal plane. And there is another, so this is the animal. We know that the cephalization means the mouth or the head part is anterior, Anus or the opposite part of the head is the posterior. Then this is the dorsal part and this is the ventral part. So one is the sagittal plane, another is the frontal plane. So you see the frontal plane is the 90 degree to the sagittal plane. This also passes through the anterior to the posterior, and there is another plane, that is the transverse plane, which pass through the middle of the body, means it is in between the anterior and the posterior part of the body. So this is the transverse plane. So an animal showing bilateral symmetry has three types of the planes. One is the sagittal plane, that makes the two equal halves. Then there is a frontal plane that is 90 degree of the sagittal plane, and there is a transverse plane. Okay. Next is the development of the animal body plans, how they are developed. So whatever body plan we have discussed earlier, here we are discussing that one. Segment of the specific genes are called the homeotic genes. So there are some genes which are responsible for segmentation of the body, that are the homeotic genes. And we see two types of the cleavage during the developmental embryology development. One is the radial cleavage that produces tiers of the layers of cells like the from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16. And each of the cells, they sit on the top of one another in an early embryo like this one. So 1 to 2, 2 to 4, you see your 4 and 8, they are sitting on top of each other. So this is seen in the sea urchin, the radial cleavage. And the spiral cleavage also, the division is like this. What the difference is, the cells, they do not sit on the top of each other, but on the furrows. So 1 to 2, so 2 to 4, so this is okay. Here it is not, you cannot differentiate so much. But when it is from the 4 to 8, you see, unlike this, here the cells, they sit on the furrows, not on the top of each other. So the difference between the radial and the spiral cleavage is, in radial, the daughter cell, they sit on top of each other, or each tier of cell, they sit on top of each other. And in case of the spiral, they do not sit on the top of each other, but on the furrows. That is in the mollusk. So this is the body cavities, how they are formed. So this is a zygote. In the blastula, okay, there is a central cavity blastocoel. Then there is a furrows formed in the blastula. Because of that, there is a development of the blastopore, and because of this furrow, there are two germinal layers. One is the ectoderm, which is the outer layer, and another is the endoderm, that is possible because of this invagination in the blastopore side. So this is a two germ layer cell stage, right? So in this case, this is the longitudinal section, that one of the type of the body plan we have discussed earlier. So here, after that gastrula, there is a complete gut is forming from the inner endoderm, and this is the mesoderm layer. The mesoderm layer, that is forming by the cells that is coming from the blastopore here, that is not shown here, but will be discussed in the following slide. When it is adjacent to the ectoderm, okay, there is only one layer of this mesoderm that is lining the inner side of the ectoderm. Then there is a pseudocoelom. It does not develop a true coelom. So pseudocoelom is the mesoderm lying the outer edge of the blastocoel, lying next to the ectoderm. Okay. So next is, when it is lying, means adjacent to the endoderm or the gut wall, then it is the acoelomate. It is not a true coelom. And when the mesoderm, it forms a cavity within, and it lines both the gut wall as well as the inner side of the ectoderm, then this is called a true coelom or the coelomate body. So based on how the mesoderm is lining itself, the coelom can be a pseudocoelomate, it can be a coelomate, it can be a true coelomate. So when it is present just adjacent to the ectoderm, then it is pseudocoelomate. When it is adjacent to the endoderm, means it is both this is the acoelomate, and when the cavity is forming within the mesoderm and the wall or the layer of the mesoderm is lining both ectoderm as well as the endoderm, this is the true coelom. So these are the examples. Pseudocoelomate, it is the nematode body. Acoelomate is the gastrotrich body, and the true coelom is annelid onwards. All the evolved species, they have the true coelom. So that coelom is discussed further here. The one I have discussed earlier. So there is a mass of the cells found in the blastopore area. They will move toward the center of the body, and there will be a cavity formed here, and this is the cytosol because it is splitting of the cell that move from the blastopore to the center, and there is a cavity appears in between. Then there is a coelom develops. This is the cytosol. Cyto means splitting of the mesoderm layer. Then in the second one, we can see that the mesoderm is developing by the pouch formation from the endoderm layer or the inner germ layer of the body, and finally the cavity is formed in this pouch. So this is called the enterocoelom, enterocoelous body plan, because it is developing from the enteron or the endoderm of the body. So when it is a splitting of the mesoderm, the mass of the cell that moves from the blastopore area into the center, and it is the coelom is forming by splitting of this mesoderm, it is the cytocoelom. And when the coelom is forming from the pouches that is developed from the enteron, this is the enterocoelus. Okay. So these coeloms are lined with the mesodermal peritoneum, it having the mesentery in which the visceral organs are suspended. In the coelom, there are the mesenteries. Inside it, there are the visceral organs. So it provides a tube within a tube arrangement that provides space for the visceral organs and cushioning and protecting the gut from the external forces. So it works like a shock absorber, so that it will protect the gut from the external forces, and it works as a hydrostatic skeleton in various animal behavior that will be discussed in their respective lectures. So what are the development tendencies? So before we have discussed the blastopore that is formed in the blastula stage. So based on the blastopore is developing into mouth, or it is developing into anus, it will be divided into protostomes. When the blastopore develop into mouth, it is the protostome. So Lophotropogon, this is a taxon of the group in which protostome developmental tendencies are seen. And in deuterostome, the blastopore develop into the anus, and the mouth is developed from the another opponent opposite to the blastopore. So in case of the protostome, there is a spiral cleavage is seen that we have already discussed earlier. But in the deuterostome, the radial cleavage is seen that also we have discussed earlier. Next one is the mosaic embryo. So what is the meaning of the mosaic embryo? Mosaic embryo means in the this is a 4-cell stage. So if all the cells are present, then it will develop into a complete embryo. But if you remove some of the cells, then for the initial some time, those cells will develop like the normal, but it cannot develop into a complete organism, because in the zygote itself or in the early stage of the embryo, it is already predetermined that which cells and which part of the embryo will develop into which type of tissues. That is already predetermined in case of the mosaic embryo. But in the regulative embryo, if you separate them, in the 4 cell stage or the 8 cell stage, each of the cells has the ability to develop into a complete organisms because it is the fate of the cells are not predetermined. Okay. Next is the blastopore. We know the name is coming from the blastopore is developing into a mouth and anus is developing from an opening that is developed later on the opposite side of the mouth. In case of the deuterostome, this blastopore is developing into anus and this is the part of the future mouth that is opposite to the blastopore. Then in case of the protostome, it is the cytocellus. This is also true coelom. So this is the mass of the cell that is generated at the blastopore area, means inner side, inside the body, but from the blastopore area, moving to the center, and it is splitting into 2 layers to develop a cavity within. So that is the cytosol that is shown in the protostomes. And in this case, there is the pouches developed in the gut wall, and that will form a lumen inside it or a cavity inside it. So in case of the protostomes, spiral cleavage, mosaic embryo, blastopore becoming mouth or the protostomia, the name is from, and coelom is cytocellus. Whereas in the deuterostome, it is a radial cleavage, regulative embryo, and blastopore, it becomes the anus, and the coelom is enterocoelus. This is the developmental tendencies. So the tissues, we have a introduction about the tissues. So here we will discuss slightly in more detail about the tissues. So the study of the tissue is called the histology. Histos means tissue and logos means study or the discourse. So there are 4 types of animal tissues we have discussed. One is the epithelium that forms the covering or the sheet of the cell that covers an external or the internal surface, means the skin as well as the gut lining inside it, as well as the blood vessel lining inside it. These all are the epithelium. Okay. So the epithelium needs a connective tissue on which it sits or it needs a supporting medium, and that is the basal membrane that is made up of the collagen. What is the form of the collagen? The colla means glue and this is the genus. So 3 types of the epithelium are there. One is a simple squamous epithelium. You can see these are the flat shaped cells. Then next is the simple cuboidal epithelium. You see there are the cube-like cells. And there is a simple columnar epithelium. You can see there is the column cells. So epithelium based on the type of the cells it is forming, it can be squamous, cuboidal, and columnar epithelium. Next is the same epithelium can be stratified, means there are the multiple layers, or it can be transitional epithelium, means you can see the layers are not so distinct in this case. So this is a transitional epithelium, or it can be stratified squamous epithelium, and this is the basal lamina where the cells are sitting on the connective tissues. And the opposite side is the apical surface. Next is the connective tissue. Second, the first one epithelial tissue discussed. Next is the connective tissue that actually connects the different type of the cells. And there is the nucleus here. You can see the collagen fiber that is responsible elastin fiber. Okay, so this is one. The another, this is the chondrocyte, means it is the cartilage, and this is the matrix, and this is the lacuna, and this is the osteocyte. So this is the cartilage, this is the bone, and this is the another type of the connective tissues. Next is the muscles. It can be skeletal or the striated. You can see the striated formation. Okay, then it is the cardiac muscles. You can see the intercalated disc here as well as the striation. So it shows the properties of the striation as well as the intercalated disc, and this is the smooth muscle cells. So muscles are of the 3 types. And this is the neuron, which has a cell body, it has an axon, and these are the dendrites. Then these are the Schwann cells that cover the axon, and this is the direction of the conduction. The junction between the 2 Schwann cells are the nodes of the Ranvier, and here the end of the axon, it forms the synapse, with the cell body or the dendrites of the another neurons, and these are the synaptic terminals. Okay. So this is the complexity and the body size. And here you can see this is the millions of years of age, around 3.8 billion years ago, the bacteria, we have seen the bacteria, 4.5 the organ of life. So this is the increasing the size of the body to the whale. So where we are discussing here, large animals have the less surface area related to its volume compared to the small animals of the same shape. This is the concept we are going to discuss in this one. So in this one, how it increases the surface area, the large animals invaginate the body surface to increase the surface area. This is the one to compensate this problem. So one example is a flatworm. So it flattens the body so that the distance between the outside and any cells of the inside, it is not so much. So it compensates like this. So large animal, the internal transport system to sort out the nutrients, gases and the waste products. So they need to develop an internal transport system to compensate this surface area. And the another one is here you can see these are the small animals, these are the large animals, this is the oxygen consumption. So in the small mammal, the oxygen consumption is higher, large mammals, the oxygen consumption is low. Why? Because large mammals uses more oxygen in running than does small mammals, but energy cost of moving 1 gram of its body over a given distance is much less for a large mammal than a small one. So large mammals, the energy cost of moving 1 gram of body over a given distance is much less. Thank you.